watching this video. It is a Saturday and I'm here in Minneapolis and my husband Kyle is up here as well. And tonight we're going to go to the theater and see a show here in Minneapolis. There's a theater called the Guthrie, which is supposed to be really great. And we're also going to be going out to dinner. So since I actually got dressed and I'm not wearing scrubs for once in my life, I thought that I would film a video and talk to all of you guys. So today I wanted to take some time to answer some Instagram questions. I did a video like this before and you guys seemed to really like it. I will post the link to that other video in the description box so that you can check that out if you haven't seen it before. But I'll just be going through messages that I get on Instagram and trying to answer some of your questions. I do get a lot of messages on Instagram and honestly I'm just not able to answer them all. My priorities are being at work and doing the best job being an ophthalmology resident that I can possibly be, and then also being at home, being a wife and a mom to my dog. And so I don't always have time to answer all of your Instagram questions, so I'm sorry if I don't respond to you, but I will try to respond to some of those questions here now. All right, so let's get started. So I'm just gonna start at the top and kind of work my way down. Okay, first question is really kind of a comment. It just says, I need motivations. I have my entrance for post-grad in 2 months, ... please. So I think that if you are lacking in motivation and you're struggling to get started studying, I totally understand. I think we have this fear of getting started when we have so much pressure based on a big exam or something like that hanging over our heads. And so for me, the best way to relieve that anxiety and to kind of really get started when I am lacking motivation is to make a domination plan. And I have discussed domination plans in several videos before, but for me, it's just basically a way to kind of amp myself up, and I make a plan where I decide that I'm going to just dominate whatever it is I have to do. So whether that be studying for an exam or getting through an essay or an application or a research project or whatever, the best way is to say, I'm gonna do this and this is how, and to make a plan for yourself, really sketch it out, be as detailed as you want. And once you have a plan and you have it all organized, I think the task will seem more doable and less of this insurmountable thing that you have to accomplish. And so for me, the best way to get some motivation is to make a domination plan. Okay, next question. What mascara do you use? It's amazing. That is so nice. I've actually gotten a lot of questions recently about makeup or skincare or what I use on my skin, and I am absolutely not a beauty guru. I don't know anything about makeup. I have no training in makeup or anything like that, and so I'm very reluctant to discuss any of the things that I do, but I will give you my best mascara secret coming from an ophthalmologist. Mascaras, as you know, can get really old and really dried out very quickly, so most mascaras I think you should only use for a couple months, and then you need to be throwing it out and getting a new mascara. But I think that people tend to hold on to their mascaras for a long time, and in doing that you're at risk of infection or contaminating your eyes or just using products that are no longer good so close to your eyes can just lead to irritation, inflammation, and just uncomfortable feeling eyes. And so in general I like to use pretty new mascara and change it out every month or two. I find that mascara is very expensive, and so it's difficult to throw away a tube if you still feel like there's some mascara in it. So the best thing that I do is I buy little minis, and every year Sephora will have like a mascara sampler pack, generally during the holidays, that will have like 6, 7, 8 little sample mascaras, and it's generally not that expensive. And so for me, that'll last me like 6 months. And I find that it's the best. So I don't really have a brand that I prefer, but I think that a new tube of mascara is what makes your eyelashes look good. They won't look clumpy if it's like all old and gross. And so I highly recommend getting just mini tubes of mascara and switching them out as often as you can. I think that's a good tip. I hope you guys like that tip. Next question. Hello, quick question. Where do you get your glasses? They're so cute and I've been trying to find a similar pair. I also get a lot of people asking about my glasses, and they're so old, but they're Fendi, and I bought them when I was in medical school. I really need to get a new pair, but they still work for me and I like the frames, so I keep wearing them. I've worn them in just a few videos. I honestly prefer my vision in my contacts so much better, and I don't like doing surgery in my glasses. I much prefer to wear my contacts, so I don't wear the glasses too often, but when I do, they are Fendi. Next question. Hi Dr. Tooley, I am a residency applicant this year and I have my interview on Monday. Good luck. I would like to ask if it's okay to explain anything by certain hand gestures. I have a habit of moving my hands while giving answers. I do too. As you can see, I'm always kind of talking with my hands. And I honestly think it's okay. I think it will express your personality and show the animation that you have if you tend to use hand gestures. You just kind of want to keep it in check. You don't want to be like overwhelmed so that they're just looking at your hands. But I think it's totally fine if you want to use a few normal hand gestures just to kind of make your general conversation more animated. But if you feel worried or insecure about it, an easy way or an easy thing that you can do is just clasp your hands, put them in your lap, and just try to focus on keeping your hands clasped and in your lap. Next question. Random question. Would you ever consider getting LASIK eye surgery? I got it done 2 weeks ago. Well, I hope that you are doing well now that you've had LASIK eye surgery. So this is kind of a loaded question because I am an ophthalmology resident, and so I have very strong opinions on laser eye surgery. I think that laser eye surgery, meaning either LASIK or PRK, are excellent forms of correcting your vision so that you don't need to wear glasses. They're extremely common and they're very safe as long as they're performed in a quality way by someone who knows what they're doing. So, if you are considering getting laser eye surgery, then I would absolutely recommend that you research your physician, make sure they are a board certified ophthalmologist, make sure that they have special training in refractive surgery or they do a high volume of refractive surgery, and then get to know them and make sure that you're going to be satisfied with the outcomes. It's also good to have clear goals based on what you want if you're going to get laser eye surgery, so that's something that you need to discuss with your physician as well. This is a big decision. These are your eyes and you are taking on risk. I've actually seen really terrible outcomes because of laser eye surgery. I've seen terrible corneal ulcers that don't heal, people even needing to get corneal transplants because of complications related to LASIK or PRK. Now, this is extremely uncommon, but it is something you need to be aware of, that you are taking a risk. For me, my eyes are my entire livelihood, and so I don't feel comfortable taking the risk of getting laser eye surgery. However, I do wear contact lenses every day, and wearing contacts every day is also not without risk. So I've had to decide which is more risky, balance either wearing contacts every day or getting laser eye surgery. Do you hear all that banging? At this apartment, there's always like this crazy banging. Anyways, for me, I do think that laser eye surgery would be something I would consider. The only reason I don't is because I am a little bit nearsighted, and I think that as I get older, into my 40s and 50s, I will like having that nearsighted because it'll help me when I get presbyopic, meaning I need reading glasses to see up close. And so I almost want to keep it so that when I get a little bit older, it works to my benefit. I'm not sure. I could totally change my mind, but as I get older and older, I think, well, I'm just going to continue wearing my contacts. And if you decide not to get laser eye surgery, then I would highly recommend making sure that you have excellent contact lens hygiene. That means never, ever, 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 ever sleep in your contact lenses, no matter what the manufacturer of the contact lens says, even if they're safe for overnight wear. Do not ever sleep in your contact lenses. Make sure you use a good cleaning solution. It's crazy. Make sure you use a good cleaning solution. I recommend a hydrogen peroxide based cleaning solution, and then make sure to change your lenses often. The safest lenses to wear are the daily lenses where you throw them out every single day and get a brand new pair. So if that answers your question, no, I wouldn't get laser eye surgery, but I do think that it's a good option as long as you're smart about it. Next question. I know this might be hard since you're a doctor, but you should make a day in the life or week in the life video, including times you're not working, or just a video talking about it, smiley face. You guys are so nice. I totally should. I feel like I am not technologically advanced enough to make a vlog. I don't have a vlogging camera, and I'm not good at editing videos. It's just not something, it's a huge task. And it's not something that I'm ready to take on at the moment, so I don't think vlogging is in my future, even though sometimes I wish I could share things with you, like the smoothies I make in the morning. Sometimes I'm making them and I think, oh, I should share this with people, or whatever. But honestly, my life outside of work involves cooking. I really like to cook. I have a ton of recipes up on my website that you can always check out. And then now that I am in Minneapolis, I have an unlimited membership to Core Power Yoga, and so I literally go to yoga every single day. And otherwise, I kind of come home and go to bed really early. I'm kind of lame. But then on the weekends, my husband and I do fun things like go to dinner and go to the theater like we're going tonight. So I'll try to keep you guys more involved in life outside of medicine. Okay, next question is, could I ask if you have any tips or advice in a situation when you failed something and needed to get up and keep going? To keep having the confidence to go on. I didn't know I was affected, but I am worried if I get shy or feel withdrawn. So this is a great question. I think we all face failure, have issues of insecurity in different aspects of our life, and I most certainly do. I have a video about kind of setbacks and feeling discouraged and a few examples of times in my life where I felt really discouraged and kind of uncertain of what I should do, and so I will definitely link that below so that you guys can see those times if you haven't seen that video before. I've absolutely had times where I've gotten bad grades or I've really struggled in classes, and kind of the same thing that I talked about with getting motivation. What helps me when I feel really discouraged is, again, like making a domination plan and really committing and like pumping myself up. Like, this is what I'm gonna do, and without a doubt, this is gonna work, and you just have to believe in yourself. And I know that that's really difficult, and I wish I had more specifics, but I think everybody responds to these things in life in different ways. But for me, the best thing to do is to kind of really boost myself up and make a plan. And I need to have specific action points that will help me kind of keep going forward when I'm feeling really discouraged, or I've lost my confidence in something. I don't know if that was really good. I'm gonna try to think of some more instances in which I have failed or struggled or had a really hard time, and maybe I'll make a video on some things like that and ways that I've moved forward, but I'm gonna need to think of some good examples. I think maybe I try to not let it bother me so much, because I know that I've had all kinds of setbacks, but I can't even remember them, because honestly, I think I just keep moving forward. Like, you can't even let it get to you, and so I don't even remember it, even though I know they've happened, but I just kind of plowed right past them, and you can't let those things affect you. You just gotta keep on working towards your goals. Next question, what time do you usually go to sleep? This is such a common question, and I think I addressed this in my last video, but I generally start getting ready for bed around 8 or 8:30, and I generally sleep about 9, and I try to sleep from like 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Sometimes I sleep a little bit later and I don't get up until closer to 5, and sometimes I go to bed even earlier, like 8:30. I really need somewhere between like 7 and 8 hours of sleep. I think for the most part I probably get closer to 7 hours of sleep a night, but I really try to get 8, and on the weekends I definitely sleep in later. Today I got up at 6, and I think we also went to bed at like 9 last night, so a little extra sleep on the weekends. Next question, is your husband a physician too? No, my husband is not a physician. He is a physician assistant, so he's a PA, and he is just the greatest ever. He keeps our life together because it would be a disaster if I was in charge of everything, and he has a great job. I think PA is like the best job ever. I have a video that I did interviewing one of my best girlfriends who's a PA, and I will link that below for you guys. Next question. Just want to ask, what good site can I find a good journal regarding Lasik and PRK? I'm a medical student, and my assignment was to find a journal regarding the two. If which is better, Lasik or PRK? Thank you. So I think the best way to find any journal articles, if you want to have data about anything really, is to go to pubmed.com, pubmed.com. I will try to link some articles below regarding PRK and Lasik, and I know I already talked a little bit about refractive surgery, but I think in general, understanding the difference in the principles between the two concepts. So they both involve laser eye surgery on your cornea, and Lasik is a surgery in which the outer protective cells of your cornea are left intact. The laser cuts down and makes a little circle with a hinge, and the circle is flapped up, so you have your normal cornea, and then you have this flap that flaps up, and then the laser ablates the underlying stroma, which is like the thick connective tissue of the cornea, and then you lay the flap back down and it heals. And Lasik is great because those outer protective cells are where you feel pain if you have a corneal abrasion, and so those are all still intact once you lay the flap back down. And so really, you don't have very much pain. Those outer protective cells also help with your vision, so your vision is pretty good right away, and you're good to go. So Lasik is less painful, and your vision is better, faster. The only problem with LASIK is that that space between the flap and the stroma is always there, and it's always a potential space. And so if you get into a trauma, if you get hit in the eye, anything like that, you're always at risk of that flap lifting up again. And if that happens, you're at risk of infection or inflammation. You can get haze between the flap, and it can cause all kinds of problems down the road. And that risk never goes away. So you always have that flap during LASIK. In PRK, the laser comes down on the outer surface of the eye, and instead of making a flap, the whole surface protection cells are removed, and then the laser ablates the cornea, and those surface protection cells don't go back down. So with PRK, you have a little bit more pain. A lot of times they'll put a bandage contact lens over the eye to help you with pain, but you will feel a little bit more pain, and then your vision will be blurry until that surface heals over again. And so you're generally out of commission for a few days because your vision is blurry. But once you're healed over, it's over, and you never have that risk of the flap like you do in LASIK. And so that's the two differences between LASIK and PRK. They give you similar outcomes depending on the shape of your eye, the thickness of your cornea, what your glasses prescription is. There's all kinds of variables that account for which procedure you may be eligible, and you might not be able to get either. And so these are great questions that you should talk to your ophthalmologist about if you're considering getting laser eye surgery. Well, this is a good question. Hi, Andrea. My name is Molly and I live in Melbourne, Australia. I just wanted to know how you keep your energy levels up towards the later afternoon/evening if you have work to do. I'm an early riser too, and I'm most productive at 5 a.m., but by 4 p.m. I'm almost a zombie. But as a pre-med, I want to try and figure out how I can maximize my time in the afternoons to get more done. This is such a great question because I can absolutely relate to this. I get up super early, very productive in the morning, then you go to work all day, and then by 5 p.m. I'm exhausted, and it's like the end of my day. And now that I'm a resident, I can have 5 p.m. be the end of my day most of the time if I'm done with clinic. A lot of times clinic doesn't finish until 6 or 7, but generally I don't have to study or do work or anything like that once I come home. Once I'm home, I'm home. And that's the reason I get up so early, is so that I can do work early in the morning. But in medical school, I most definitely had work to do later on, past 5 o'clock. Different things that I used to combat that kind of drop in energy later towards the day were really two things. One is working out. I really enjoyed going to the gym later in the afternoon. So I would come home from class, I would have a little snack, and then I would go to the gym. And then after gym, I would have dinner, and that would kind of energize me by exercising later in the afternoon. So that's one thing that I did that really helped. And then the other thing is caffeine. I love coffee, and so that afternoon cup of coffee, that 4 p.m. cup of coffee, if I have things to do, that is essential for me. And so strategically placing caffeine, and you can even strategically use light, where you get some bright lights or you go outside for a minute to kind of wake yourself back up, is very helpful. The only other thing you could do is that if you were at home and you had time, you could also do a strategic nap or a caffeine nap, where you drink some caffeinated beverage, coffee or tea, then you take a short 20-minute nap, and then you wake up, and by the time you wake up, the caffeine has kind of taken place, has had a chance to kind of start working, and you feel much more energized. Everybody's different in how they feel about napping, but there is some research that it can help you kind of get a boost, especially if you do a strategically placed nap where you have it at certain times of day that work for you, and then also combine it with caffeine. So I'm a big advocate for caffeinated beverages. Coffee is my favorite, and I just love coffee. And so that would be my recommendation to kind of give yourself a boost at the end of the day. Alright, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This was quite a random assortment of questions, so I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know, and I'll make some more videos answering your Instagram questions. I hope you guys are having a great day. I will talk to you later. Bye!